What is up, everybody? What is up, PCP Army? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and this is Rockin Robbie Live. In fact, here we are celebrating the last day of the second month of 2021. How's it turning out so far? I don't know. It's kind of up and down, right? Anyway, station, everybody out there in the chat, in the army, in the crew, excitable we are. Thank you for being here tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about comic books, the best of last week. We'll be looking forward to what's coming up in comic shops this week. We'll be doing a sneak peek at the DC comic books. We'll be talking about WandaVision. In fact, we'll be doing a critical incision on WandaVision. We'll be doing a movie review for a 1988 creature feature called Cellar Dweller. That was part of my afternoon. I'll be revealing a top 5 of my favorite movies from the year of my birth, 1981. A little bit of show and tell, some weird stretches here and there. So there you go, station. That's the show tonight. I do want to make mention that you should check out popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, and a whole lot more. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at Pop Culture Philosophers. And if you're on Facebook, you might as well make it official and join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. And if you're on Twitter, you can follow me there at the Rockin Robbie. You can also support the channel with Super Chat, as I see Perry has already done, and Adam, so station for that. Don't worry, your Joker video's coming. And you can also support us over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine patriots right there. PCP patriots, actually. We got a couple of announcements real quick. Thursday, here on the channel, Ram V will be joining us. He is the writer of so many of my favorite comics, including the brand new Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing #1 releases this week. I've already read it. I will be talking about that in the DC sneak peek at the beginning of Block B, if you want to call it that. But I'm very excited to have Ram V here on the channel. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Central Time. 1 p.m. It's a different start time. He's in the UK, so you know we're working with his schedule. But Ram V, oh y'all, I'm so freaking excited. That's Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Time. Then PCP Movie Night kicks off March Madness. Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time, with a look at the very underrated, underappreciated psychological thriller, The Cell, starring Jennifer Lopez, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Vince Vaughn. It's a fantastic movie. Check it out. And over at Dylan's Horror Show, the very next night, because Dylan's got to be part of the madness as well, he's going to be talking about the Psycho franchise, me and him. So there's the lineup right there. The Cell. And then the next night on Dylan's Horror Show, Psycho franchise. Next week, you see it, In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness. That's a John Carpenter double feature. The week after that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the winner of the March Madness PCP Army movie poll. And then following that up with the sequel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And then the final week of March Madness, Event Horizon, celebrating the release of the Scream Factory Blu-ray. And then over at Dylan's Horror Show, we're wrapping it up with the Gates of Hell trilogy, which is the Fulci films. Oh, that's going to be so good. So remember, Ram V on the show Thursday afternoon, 1 p.m. Central Time. PCP Movie Night, 9 p.m. Central Time. We'll be talking about The Cell. And then Dylan's Horror Show right after that. We now pause for station identification. So there you go. Station! Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live. I'm excited to be here. I've had a good week. I hope you've had a great week. I hope you've had a good weekend. I hope you had a good Sunday. You know, did my typical stuff on Sunday. A little bit of grocery shopping, a lot of laundry, some cataloging's the wrong word, but like, you know, enjoying some of my action figures, not playing with them, but, you know, just kind of, you know, oh yeah, I forgot I had this one. That kind of a thing. Watched a couple movies. I did my Sunday morning ritual, watched Psycho 2. Getting ready for Dylan's Horror Show with the Psycho franchise. Very excited for that. We're going to ask Brooks to be a part of that, so that's going to be freaking cool. But I got to get these Psycho movies watched, or revisited, I should say, so that I can revisit, obviously, what's the movie we're doing this week? The Cell. Just got that in this week, so I'm very excited. Got that in yesterday. Actually, today. It came in the mail today. Hell yeah. Things never used to come in the mail on Sunday. Anyway, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. So get your questions in right now. What do you want to know? My thoughts on what do you want to start the discussion on? And as you throw out your suggestions for topics. We'll be delivering the first 6. So we're continuing to look at my Blu-ray collection, my PBC, personal Blu-ray collection. That's PBRC, actually. We left off with First Blood, which, why was it in R? Why? Because I have all the Rambo films. So next up, we got Rambo First Blood Part 2, my favorite action film name ever. Rambo First Blood Part 2. There you go. Then we got Rambo 3. Hell yeah. Look at those. Look at those deltoids. It's crazy. One of my personal favorites, Rambo. This is actually the 4th film in the franchise. It's just the only one called Rambo. But anyway, this film is amazing. What the, mate? And then we got Rambo Last Blood, which I picked up last year when we did the Rambo Action Fest night. And I don't know. It's kind of like Home Alone meets Rambo a little bit. It's weird. Reanimator. Love this movie from Arrow. A great presentation. A great Blu-ray. It's got the reversible slip screen. What do they slip screen? What the hell? It's got the reversible cover. Slip screen. We're going to end the first 6 with Rent. That's the film version of Rent. What I love about the film version of Rent is that for the most part, it has the original cast there, except for like Mimi and Joanne. So I really, really like Rent a lot. And the movie's not as good as seeing it on stage, but I like it. But I wish they would have kept Goodbye Love in there. Anyway, that wraps up the first 6. So there you go. Going through my Blu-rays, because why not? Why not? Everybody that's in the chat, say what's up, say a station, because I've missed everybody in here, but I know a lot of people are in here. Herm, Bobby, Fable, Mars, Travis, Hamburger, Basket, 62, Scarpad's in the house, what's up? Twitch, Naruto, Uzumaki. John Rambo just wanted to eat some food. You're right. That's all he wanted to do. That's the tragedy of that damn movie. The first Rambo, as much as we love the Rambo franchise here, obviously, the first Rambo is a very special film. It really, really is. I didn't watch the Alien trailer, Quinn, because, I don't know, comic book trailers don't usually, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I didn't watch it. Robbie, have you watched The Color Out of Space? I watched it last night, thought it was dope. No, TSG, I have not, but me being a big H.P. Lovecraft fan and a slightly out Nicolas Cage fan, because some of it's still a little bit of a guilty pleasure, I'm very interested in this film. I've heard very good things about it, but I haven't seen it yet. Station everybody to the fullest. Hell yeah. Stefan says, I love Rent because of Rosario. Rosario Dawson. Yeah, she's great in it as Mimi. Yeah, it's pretty good. Oh. Y'all, if I drink one too many sips of beer tonight, I bet there's going to be a Rent sing-along at some point. You just wait and see. I almost started it. It's way too early to start that nonsense. Got to say hi to Lou Ferrigno today. Just didn't pay $40 for his autograph. God tank, hell yeah. You know, I forgave Lou Ferrigno for his part in my very disappointing experience meeting him for the first time. But I don't ever plan on meeting him again, to be honest. What's up, Derek? How are you doing? How are you doing? Watch the newly released Pump Up the Volume. Forgot what a great flick that was. And yeah, the rest of that. Scarpad's always, yeah. You're a bad influence, my man. I'm just joking. Station. Pump Up the Volume. Holy crap, I haven't really thought about that movie in a while. That's really a good movie. I got my newest issue of Scream Magazine in this week, and on the back was an ad for Arrow Video, and I didn't realize that they had a Blu-ray edition of Heathers, which I really got to check out because I love that movie. I haven't seen it in years. I think it's definitely one of the better Lovecraft movie adaptations. I'll tell you this. There aren't many good ones, okay? So there's not a lot that it has to work with. But that being said, I'm a big fan of the Stuart Gordon stuff, okay? So I really love Reanimator, and I really love From Beyond and Dagon and Dreams of Witch House, which was the Masters of Horror Season 1 episode Stuart Gordon did. I think those are some of the better ones, but they're not, like, faithful. Like, I've never seen anything incredibly faithful that's good. Yeah, Lou will be at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. Again, he was here a couple years ago. Every time he goes to a town, too, if you ever notice, they make him an honorary, like, deputy or sheriff or something. It's probably got to be some kind of weird fixation he has. But yeah, he'll be there. But I ain't gonna... I'm excited to meet JDF again, Jason David Frank. He was the Green Ranger, the White Ranger. I'm excited to meet him again. I've met him before. And I've talked on the phone with him in a really weird conversation the very first time I technically had an interaction with him. That's a weird stretch of a story. Basically, a homie of mine was at Dragon Con, and JDF was there, and I'd never met JDF. And so he somehow, like, managed to get... He called me and then, like, harassed JDF enough to get on the phone with me for, like, 20 seconds. And it was so awkward because I'm at work, and I'm like, what's going on? I have no idea this is happening. And I just hear, like, somebody being like, you can't do that, sir. And then my buddy Tony being like, come on, Jason, please. And then you hear JDF go, I mean, whatever, just leave him alone. Like, I'll do it. I mean, I don't know the guy. It's going to be weird, but whatever. And then he gets, hey, what's up? And I'm just like, oh. And then the same thing happened. He got Walter Jones on the phone with me. And apparently, like, I just got a phone call from Tony. I said, what's up? And then he's like, hey, I got someone to talk to you. And then I'm like, hey, and he's like, hey, why aren't you there? And I'm like, I'm at work. And he's like, oh man, catch you next time. Thanks for loving us. And then and he's like, dude, that was Walter Jones, the Black Ranger. That was Zach. And I'm like, why did maybe if I would have known that was coming. Anyway. Yeah, LMA and slots. I'm live. Who would have thought Rockin Robbie's going to be live on some random night in the prime time? Who would have thought? This is the live show, though. This is the live show. This is Rockin Robbie live. This is just me and you. Oh, weird stretch tacky. Stipend. Oh, goodness. Where's J-Strick? Knicks are in the 5th seed right now. Let's go, Knicks. Okay, Herm. Let's go. Lakers hit a downslide, but once we got Schroeder back, I think we're good. We're playing the Warriors probably. Or is it right now? Or is it in like an hour or so? Playing the Warriors. Why don't I not even have it set up? I'm paying for this NBA League Pass, y'all, and I haven't even watched a basketball game in like 2 weeks. Because I've been watching nothing but Adam Green shit. Okay? So there you go. And Meteor Man. Great movie. Yeah, DC dude. Dagon's awesome. I love that movie. My recollections of it were not as respectful as when I revisited it this year, because like the 3rd or 4th episode of Dylan's Horror Show we did was the Stuart Gordon spotlight, and that was our first director spotlight. We did one last night with Adam Green. It was kind of like I said, we're going to do Stuart Gordon. He's like, well, I want to do Adam Green. I was like, well, then we're going to do Stuart Gordon. It was kind of a thing. So, what's up, Jesus? Twitch says, my LCS had all their B covers for Stray Dogs come in damaged. Should I wait to see if Diamond is able to replace or put on eBay now if the cover goes up? Twitch, don't. If you can get it at cover or below, get it now, right? Don't trust Diamond to... I don't know. I haven't really put out a lot of feelers out in the community to see how people really like this film. This book, it seems like it's kind of divisive, right? It is pretty heavily ordered, or at least it should be, okay? Because I think it's a returnable, full returnability. So it shouldn't be super, super rare, but in some shops it will be, obviously. At my shop, we got plenty of cover Bs. So if you can't find it for at least cover, like holler at me, I'll give you a cover with the discount. The PCP Army 69 discount. It's not 69%, obviously. We couldn't do that. We'd go out of business. But it would be great to have a short store where you can give everybody a 69% discount. But you'd have to have way inflated price. Anyway, just let me know if you can't find it. But don't trust Diamond to be able to fulfill shortages. Sometimes they will, and usually the shortage or damaged copies come back and they're damaged too. Because I really think that they pull them from the ones that didn't make the initial cut. So think about that, we literally get the same books over and over from Diamond for a sequence of months and months and months. The same. I feel at times they send us the same ones, the same damaged copies that we already reported damaged and sent back. I think we eventually get back from Diamond. I'm just saying. What Heroes Reborn one-shot are you interested in checking out the most? Travis, honestly, none of them. I am not hyped for this thing at all. Hey, what's up, Mark? We got Mark here from Geeks Unleashed. Geeks Unleashed was, they joined me for a great conversation a couple weeks ago on Rockin Robbie Live with, and that was such a fun conversation, and you definitely got to check out their podcast, Geeks Unleashed, and I've been on a couple of their episodes, and I'm looking forward to being on more. I'm looking forward to having them back on the channel. Robbie, for the summer, you should do Body of Water horror monsters. There are a ton of movies. Body of Water horror monsters. What are you talking about? Like, I don't get it. Like Loch Ness Monster? What are we talking about here? Body of Water. Like Body of Water is like, hey, we got super chat down there. Oh, I forgot. We also had Adam and Perry. Hey, Seuss here with the hell yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, cool info. Station. Damn, Mark, you having a rough night. Well, I hope we bring you some joy and positivity at some point. I don't know. Good luck with all that, man. That seems really rough. All right, let's cue the Joker video. I really didn't expect to be singing 20 minutes into the show, y'all, but let's do it. Hey, yo. Ha ha! Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He is sitting alone drinking, but right behind him is Heath Ledger's Joker on the projection screen. If you know what he means, he doesn't understand. But he knows one thing. He wants some ice cream. It's the best I got right now. You gotta let those juices flow a little bit longer till we get a good Hellboy song or whatever the hell it's gonna be next. Now I wish I would have put some kind of ice cream gif on there. I was literally looking over there because there's an Ice Cream Man issue right there. I wonder why. This is the greatest Sunday show of all time and space. Thank you so much, God Tank, because it means a lot to me because X-Files was on Sunday, so thank you. It used to be. Derek says wait on Stray Dogs. If it's get it at cover or less, do not pay above cover for it. That's all I'm saying. TSG says Dagon is awesome. So glad I went down that Stuart Gordon rabbit hole. Also kind of traumatized, but it's all good. Yeah, that happens sometimes, but it's all good. I just wanted to say this, like, you guys notice how happy Dylan was last night on Dylan's Horror Show? We were doing the Adam Green show, and it was me and Jay Strick. We went for over 3 hours. Really? Like, all we did was talk about Adam Green, one of his favorite directors. Do you see how happy he was? It's the whole purpose of all of this is to bring joy. So, hell yeah. What did you all think of Maniac of New York? It was a cool read. I really liked it. Very excited to see what's going to happen in the next issue this month. Too many Dos Equis for Hellboy. He's drinking Dos Equis there, but probably you know I wouldn't put it past Hellboy to do a Boilermaker. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hellboy's about to have a Rent sing-along. Problem is, I don't think there's any Rent song that will go to that beat. I sung Rent recently. What was it? I don't know who it was. It was a Rockin Robbie Live with, I'm pretty sure. Anyway. Fable says, Dylan was ecstatic you loved Adam Green. He thought y'all was doing a bit. He did. He thought me and Jay Strick were doing a bit, but we literally... Jay Strick, like, heard me talking about Hatchet and then Holliston, and then he just jumped in and watched them all. He's like, if I watch them all, can I join you? I was like, yeah, but I don't want to let Dylan know, because I know how much Dylan loves J Strick. He used to love me. Now he loves J Strick, but it's okay. I'm not jealous or nothing. You know, I'm the executive producer of Dylan's Horror Show, so there you go. No, we planned on it being a surprise, and Dylan had no idea that J Strick was there. So not only was he excited that I enjoyed these Adam Green films, he didn't know J Strick was going to be there, nor did he know that J Strick was even watching these films. And then today, J Strick sending me messages being like, bruh, I just bought Candyman and the Friday the 13th box set. I'm like, bruh, we got you. We got you. We got you. I've only watched a few Adam Green movies. You guys got me hooked to check out more of his work. If you haven't seen him, definitely check out Spiral, which he co-directed. But Spiral, that's to me the pinnacle. Spiral, Frozen, Hatchet films are fun if you like 80s slasher. They're a nice throwback to that. Very gory, very in your face. And Holliston is a really great sitcom. It's on Shudder. You can watch it there. And Digging Up the Marrow is like a mockumentary that's like really good and funny with Ray Wise, with just doing one of the best performances of his career. Holy cow. And Chillerama is one of those movies for people that want to see something they've never seen before and are not offended by literally anything. Yeah, Herm, J Strick was there, but don't worry, you can watch it on the replay. It's out there right now. It's out there. It's out there. All right, let's get on with the show. We were talking about ice cream. So let's talk about our favorite comic books of last week. I know that a lot of us finally got comics. I'm sorry for the delay, by the way, of the weekly comic book review. I had people thinking that it was over. Like, are you done? We're never going to do it again? No. We just didn't get our comics for 2 weeks. But I'm going to tell you this. We get them. We got our comics. We're golden. We're good. What was your favorite comic book last week? What was your pick of the week? My pick of the week was Ice Cream Man issue 23. And yeah, I know. Another month. Another issue of Ice Cream Man. I almost said Iron Man. I'm not reading that one right now. Another issue of Ice Cream Man, another pick of the week. This book blew me away, man. It took a long time to read. I love the format of this book. It introduces you to the main characters, and it's about this Tonight Show host and his whole backstory, and there's a lot of cliche that's going on. He's got the dissatisfied wife. He's cheating with the intern. He's got a producer who's his best friend who's kind of secretly in love with him, but it's not so secret. And Ice Cream Man shows up as the new animal trainer. You know, that whole bit that they do on the Tonight shows, the late night shows. And he winds up getting eaten and killed by the snake. Or not killed, but eaten and just devastated by the snake. So the way the format of the book is you got prose on one side. So you got a chapter of prose, and then you got one page of the incident. And you know the incident from the very beginning. And it just keeps progressing the incident scene by scene. And it keeps giving you chapter of the background of all the characters, the background of the show, the characters. I already said characters. The background of everything. And it winds up getting to the full-on bit right there. And then it has a really great ending. Another fantastic issue of Ice Cream Man. These stories are one and done. You can pick up any issue of Ice Cream Man, read it, and enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy just any random issue of Ice Cream Man, for the most part, you probably just aren't going to dig the series. This is a fantastic book. It's very Twilight Zone-esque. Bittersweet, melancholy, stories filled with despair, but a tinge of hope and the human experience. That's what this book is about. It's about the human experience, yo. And Ice Cream Man does it so delicately. Amazing artwork, as usual, by Martin Marazzo, with great, sickly sweet coloring by Chris O'Halloran. Ice Cream Man 23 was by far my pick of the week. And I'm asking you now, what was your favorite comic book of last week? What was your pick of the week? So what was it? What was it? I want to know. Let's see. Two fat guys pool list just joined. What are we drinking? I'm drinking Straight to L's Monkey Knot, Hometown, brewery here in good old Huntsville, Alabama. Monkey Knot's their IPA. It's pretty much my go-to. It's my normal. Pretty much drink it all the time. Poor Mac. The question is, what are we smoking? Wow, it's interesting. Thought of Letterman the whole time, yeah? A lot of Letterman, all that, the whole shtick of all of it, you know? Twitch says, Amazing Spider-Man 60 for finally convincing me to drop Amazing Spider-Man. Station, don't worry. I'll let you know how infuriating each issue continues to get. I feel bad, though. I feel like sometimes I alienate and ostracize some of the fans who love the videos, but they really like Amazing Spider-Man. If you like Amazing Spider-Man, that's cool. I'm just giving you my honest, unfiltered opinions, you know? Travis says, Stray Dogs was the pick of the week. Easy Reader says, something is killing the children. Fable says, Ice Cream Man is so good. It's worth it, Fable. Jay says, By the Horns. By the Horns was really freaking good. Like, I cannot believe it. That was really freaking good. TSG says, Crossover was my pick. Reverse Amoeba says, loved Ice Cream Man. I Breathed a Body got dark as shit with issue 2. Really dug it. Yeah. When I did my advanced review of number 1 and when I made number 1 my pick of the week, I was like, y'all, you just got to trust me. You got to get to issue 2. Issue 2, oh my goodness. Did I love I Breathed the Body number 2. It would have been the pick of the week if I just didn't think Ice Cream Man structurally was so freaking fantastic and imaginative and captivating, to be honest with you. God Tank says Paranormal Hitman. I didn't get a copy of that one. It came in. For some reason, I decided to pass on it. It was a crazy week, y'all. These last couple weeks have been way too crazy with the delay in the shipments and everything. It's Brian says Spawn 315. That was a fun issue of Spawn. I really like it. I love how Todd brings out the best of every artist that ever joins him. Twitch says, I want to like Amazing Spider-Man, but it's been dull and unreadable since the middle of the Sin Eater arc. This was the third issue that has been the same sort of filler BS with Kindred. I agree. Robbie, are you deleting my posts? If so, why? Mike Knight, I am not deleting any posts. Sometimes I have to approve posts. Sometimes I don't see them to approve them. Usually if there's some kind of language or something, but I haven't noticed any of your posts and to be approved, and I have not deleted any of your posts. So no, I have no idea what that's about. 62 Lefty Blue says Post Americana. Yeah, I dropped out of that on the first issue, but a lot of people told me I need to pick it back up. We'll see. I think the last couple of weeks produced some great books. I agree with you, Herminio. I gotta find out who this Hermano is. Mostly my picks were all Image Comics this week. I'll tell you this, Jesus. I'll tell you this. I thought it was the best issue of These Scumbag yet, and I've loved every single frickin' issue. Nick Spencer is taking 30 issues to tell what could legitimately be told in 10. Yes, I think it's overly self-indulgent garbage, to be honest, at this point. I do not like to talk so just, like, scathingly about a book. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, because I really, you just experience, but I freaking hate Amazing Spider-Man right now. Why do I keep reading it? Because for some reason, you guys really seem to like my frustration with this book. So I'm just going to keep it fucking going. And maybe one day we can cut together a video of all, like, the entirety of the run and, like, my thoughts. Because there have been times where I've liked it. There are times where I really like it. And when it gets back to Boomerang, I know there's going to be an issue or two I'm going to like. And you're going to be like, I'm going to be honest, this is a pretty good book. It's not a bad issue of Spider-Man. God damn it. If it wasn't a flagship, I'd drop it. Scumbag was fantastic. That was really good. Wasn't the Forrest Gump from Huntsville, Alabama? I don't know. He's from somewhere in Alabama, I thought. I mean, in the movie he is. I don't know if he's from Huntsville. it seems like it would be something plastered all over the town if he was, but I don't know. Everything's just named after Werner von Braun here. I just read Giga 1 and 2 and it was good. Yeah, Jay, they were really good. I got to read those both before they came out, and I have no idea when issue 3 is coming out. I have no idea. Its book is so late. It sucks because that book's really good. I really like Giga. It's a really cool concept. You can tell that Alex has got some really cool layers to explore in this series, and just waiting for this next issue. Here's a question. How many different covers are we getting for Berserker? Don't quote me on this because I don't really know, because there's going to be a lot of exclusives, but 69 dudes. Case needs to do Spider-Man, but he's leaving Marvel, I think. I don't think he's leaving Marvel. He's Marvel's golden boy right now. King in Black and everything is, I think, going to lead into some kind of a new... I don't think it's going to be called Captain Universe, but some kind of new book by him. He's going to continue to do Thor for a while, and he's going to do a proper Marvel event within the next 5 years, and then he'll probably dip out. What do you think about Thunderbolts? It's weird seeing Taskmaster with no mask. I agree. I totally agree with that. It's so freaking weird. Greenbow, Alabama doesn't exist. Okay, there you go. ASM is hit or miss with Robbie. It's mostly miss these days. I really like the Boomerang stuff. I think Nick Spencer... Now, here's the thing, because I don't like talking so much shit about it, because I really do like Nick Spencer as a creator. Like, I really like him. Morning Glories, to me, is fan-frickin-tastic. But his Captain America run, except for certain bits of it, but his Captain America run and his Spider-Man run, to me, just overindulgent, prolonged, just drivel sometimes. I hate being this negative. I just want the series to be good. I'm frustrated as hell. Yeah. Well, at least here's the thing that's frustrating the most about it to me, Twitch, is that there are great books from Marvel that they just cut off so freaking quick before it can build up any word of mouth. But they are allowing something like Nick Spencer, where it seems like, I know the sales are there, but sales are there because of variant covers, incentive covers, and the fact that it's Amazing Spider-Man, okay? That's why the sales are there. There is a little bit of truth to when Rob Liefeld said anybody can write Batman and make it a top-selling book. That's not true, but at the same time, if the brand is strong, and right now, Spider-Man is an incredibly strong brand, so it's still driving some sales, and it does have this lean in, because here's the thing. This, to me, was an absolute just garbage issue where all it was Peter regurgitating all this shit back up again about his trauma over Kindred and this and what's going on. Yeah, we get it. We don't know what's going on. We understand this. Frickin' moved the story forward. To me, the story did not progress the story forward. It could be argued that it moved Peter forward. You could do that in a different way that's not so obvious and in your face, and just... He's on this stage just talking about, oh, I'm sad because my best friend's this demon-infested guy with centipedes, millipedes, whatever the hell. What? But then they fool everybody by doing the Mephisto bit at the end, and everybody's like, oh, but that last page. Like, yeah, bro, we already knew that was going to be involved. Come on. God. This is a long, ass-backwards way to undo One More Day. You just wait and see. Jesus. Anyway, I'm frustrated. Derek says, Amazing is one of those titles that you go on and off repeatedly. I know I have. I just decided to take the good with the bad because it's good mostly historically. Yeah, you're right. What's up, TK's Batcave Station? How are you doing, brother? We got to get you on the channel for a March Madness. Let me know if any movie on this list piques your interest, my friend. You let me know. You just let me know. You just let me know. Anyway, what do you think Otley's doing next? I have no idea, Fable. I haven't heard anything. I bet something creator-owned. I bet he went over there for a short contract to do Spider-Man, to have that like on his list, and then I think he'll be doing something creator on. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something with Kirkman Invincible related. There's Invincible's about to drop, so there's about to be some more ideas on that. But I don't know. Maybe some other people know, but I don't know. Gleason is so good. Is he consistently on Amazing Spider-Man? No. He's not. But Guy says, I don't hate Amazing Spider-Man. I just want a new team. Hell yeah. I agree. Some writers can write their own stuff better than the stuff from the big two. Some writers prefer to write. I mean, you're going to put more effort and passion, probably more so, into things that you will legitimately own, I think. But passion for characters exists, And I feel the passion that Nick Spencer has. I know the era of Spider-Man that he loves because he's referencing a lot of the stuff I read when I was a kid. He's referencing a lot of 80s Spider-Man stuff. And I get it. I feel it. But like at the same time, it's just like, God damn. This Kindred stuff started in issue 1, y'all. We're on issue 60. I mean, this makes Todd McFarlane's first 60 issues of Spawn feel like a breakneck pace. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, it's still irritated Ghost Rider. Yeah, these books are getting killed off so quick, but it's like they're quick to drop. It's all about the brand, the strength of the brand. That's why DC will only put out like 8 books a week, but like half of them will be Batman or Batman related. I can tell you from Gleason that he wants Amazing. Most artists will say that, though. I agree. Gleason and Donny Cates would be a hell of a creative team on Amazing Spider-Man. 100%. I don't know if Stegman wants to do Amazing because been there, done that, right? He did Superior. And so, like, I think that's the feeling from that. But maybe I'm wrong. But I think they're going to continue doing some kind of... I don't think they're done with the character of Eddie Brock. Or Case is just going to let one of his friends pick up the story, I guess, with the new Captain Universe book. What kind of bizarro universe bullshit are we living in where the Black Cat book is consistently better than the Amazing Spider-Man? Station for Black Cat, then. Maybe I should catch back up on it. I'm hearing good things about Jed McKay. What are some of Robbie's Marvel DC spec books? My number one DC spec book, to be honest with you, would be Detective Comics 27, first appearance of Batman. That's a really one to get on. I think he's got a new movie coming out. And for Marvel, I mean, the number one for me, I think right now for spec would be Amazing Fantasy 15, first appearance of Spider-Man, because there's a new Spider-Man movie. Mora on Spider-Man? I want Mora on Detective where he's at right now, but I want him eventually over on a Superman book written by Ram V. How about that? I'm going to pitch it to Ram, too. I'm going to put it in his ear Thursday. I'm just going to, because I'll be like, what other books would you really like to do? What other characters? I'll be like, I'd like to see you do Superman with Dan Mora. I'm just going to throw it out there. Put it in his head. Station, y'all. Just popping in during a break. We'll be on when my show's over. But thank you for popping in, Manuel. Thank you for popping in. We're about to take a look at what's coming up in comic shops this week. So we can... I took a look over the list. It's kind of a small, light week. And I'm kind of rather excited for that, y'all, to be honest with you. So I can go with a good light week, but it's also a big week for DC because it's the launch of Infinite Frontier, 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 Frontier. And let me tell you this. First week of DC Infinite Frontiers, in my opinion, pretty fucking dope. Okay? We'll get to that in segment 2. But we're going to wrap up segment 1 by talking about what's coming up in comic shops this week. It's a lighter week, like I said, but it seems like it's going to be a pretty solid week from Image Comics. We got Firepower number 9. We got Noctera number 1, the brand new book from Scott Snyder and Tony Daniel. So that's exciting. And then we have Unearthed number 10 and Walking Dead Deluxe number 10. From Dark Horse Comics, we have Avatar, The Next Shadow number 3. Dead Dog's Bite number 1. We've got Fear Case number 2. We got the Mike Mignola Quarantine Sketchbook. Yeah. Overwatch Tracer London Calling number 4. From IDW. We've got Marvel Action Captain Marvel 2021's volume number 1. Star Wars The High Republic Adventures number 2. We've got Transformers Beast Wars number 2. I was really impressed with issue number 1. So I'm going to check this out. What about Marvel? Marvel's got America Chavez number 1, launch of her new miniseries. Avengers number 43 with a plethora of covers. Avengers Mech Strike number 2. Demon Days X-Men number 1, completely written and illustrated by Peach Momoko. We've got Hellions number 10, one of the best X books out. King in Black Captain America number 1, it's a one-shot. King in Black Gwenom vs. Carnage number 3, the final issue. The King in Black Handbook. King in Black Thunderbolts number 3. King in Black Wiccan Hulkling number 1, it's a one-shot. Runaways number 34, Power Pack number 4. Star Wars High Republic number 3. We've got the Ten of Swords Omnibus coming out, $100 hardcover there. From Dynamite, we have James Bond, Agent of Spectre number 1. We've got Sonya Versal number 2. From Boom Studios, we have Berserker. Did he just say making fuck? Berserker number 1 from Boom Studios this week. And Buffy the Vampire Slayer number 23. They're keeping it really low-key at Boom this week. They're like, all we're launching is Berserker. Seriously, did he? Get her on Nick. Anyway, then we got Casual Fling number 2 from AWA, as well as Chariot number 1, this new Brian Edward Hill book from AWA. Really liked Casual Fling number 1, by the way, like the best written episode of Red Shoe Diaries ever. Engine Ward number 8, Jonah and the Impossible The Impossible Monsters number 1. The Plot number 8, that's the final issue. Resonant number 8, Rick and Morty Presents Jerry Boree number 1, it's a one-shot. And Rick and Morty Worlds Apart number 2. And Undone by Blood, The Other Side of Eden, number 1. I've read it. It's awesome. It's awesome. So there you go. What's coming up from DC? We'll be taking a look at that when we come back from our break. We're about to take a quick break, but when we come back, a DC sneak peek, my thoughts on the DC books that I have read, which is, the ones that come out this week. I'm excited to talk about it. Then we're going to do a critical incision on WandaVision and a Cellar Dweller movie review. We'll be right back here on Rockin Robbie Live. What is up, PCP Army? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers, everybody. Welcome to Rockin Robbie Live, Segment 2. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. Tonight, we've been talking about our favorite comic books of last week, what was coming up this week. That's very exciting, but we got some excitement coming up in Segment 2. I do want to say you should check out popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts, blogs, and a whole lot more. Follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram, and if you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRockinRobbie. You can support us with a super chat here tonight, or join us over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine patrons right there. Coming up this week, Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Time, Rom V will be joining us for a conversation. Very excited for that. Friday night starts March Madness here on PCP Movie Night with a look at The Cell. It continues the next night on Saturday at Dylan's Horror Show. There's the March Madness lineup: The Cell, Psycho franchise, In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2, Event Horizon, and Fulci's Gates of Hell trilogy. So that's what's coming up here on Pop Culture Philosophers, but right now, we're about to chat for a little bit. This show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your comments, your thoughts, your concerns. Get them in right now. Let's fuel this show a little bit forward. In this block, which we call B, it's going to be DC Sneak Peek. It's going to be a critical incision on WandaVision with full-on spoilers and a Cellar Dweller movie review from 1988. There you go. Chaos and Comics is in the house. Station. How are y'all doing? Lots of amazing Spider-Man talk still during the break, I see. Chaos says he read the first 2 volumes in trade, and that was enough. Good for you. For those who have read all of Ten of Swords, is it better as a whole read or not worth it? It's better as a whole read, in my opinion. And it's better read like that. Better read that way. It's better read that way. I tell you that. TSG says, Derek Magnus, I think it's definitely worth it. Worth the read, especially in omnibus format. Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man was okay in the early going. It showed moments of promise from time to time, but has just been bogged down in rehashing for the past 20 issues. Yes! Same. Mark says, Black Cat issue 3 was all right. The art was strong, but the story was just a throwaway story. Okay. Thank you, Will. Will says, I just wanted to say that you are a very handsome and hot comic book guy. Please don't kick me or ban me for saying that. Just need to get that off my chest. It's all right. I appreciate it. I'll take compliments all day, any day. Anyone reading Black Widow, love it, love it, love it, love it. Help Robbie get 1K likes. Yeah, that's a goal. We have a goal to get, the goal is to get 100 live on One Moment this year at Rockin Robbie Live. We're at 77 right now. I think our biggest is like 84. So I think we can get to 100. And we want to have 1,000 likes on a weekly comic book review. We'll see. Reggie Simmons is here with the Super Chat with 1111, one of my favorite numbers, and he says, smash that like button, PCP Army. Thank you, Reggie. All right. Just wasn't feeling a Joker song for some reason. The The universe was telling me don't sing right now. So I listened. Have you trimmed that upper lip yet? No, I need to trim all this, bro. Comics with Bueller's in the house. What's up, Station Bueller? Oh, shit. I was supposed to make you more videos today. I didn't do that. I gotta do that. Videos for Bueller. Oh, man. Sorry about that, Bueller. Just reuse one if you need to. I'll get them to you. Anyway, he says, 1,000 likes. Robbie eats fake chalupas. Okay. Sure. We get 1,000 likes on a weekly comic book video. We'll eat chalupas. We've already eaten chalupas on the channel. By the way, man, I should have set this up. Somebody, I can't remember the Instagram name. Somebody did some fan art, and it was me and Bob and Bueller being attacked by a killer chalupa, like a giant killer chalupa. And I really like the art because also whoever drew it made me look really jacked. And I like that. I like that a lot. Though I don't really wear shorts often. So that's one thing I would be like, we should retouch that and you should put pants on me. But nah, for real. I thought it was fantastic. I love fan art. I don't get as much as Bueller's gotten. So it's always nice and it's nice to be involved in one with Bueller and Bob. Because those are my bros. Those are my homies. It wasn't a pancake. That's apparently how they half-ass make chalupas down here. Everybody that's gotten a chalupa, I look at it and I go, yeah, it's a pancake chalupa. It's a pancake chalupa. What can I do? Give me a break, as Bueller would say. I love how Bueller's always down to station in the chat. But when it's time for Bueller to do a station in real life on stream, he does it so awkwardly. Like he doesn't like Bob is embraced. I don't know if you guys watched the monthly comic review on Bob's channel from this last Thursday, but I love it. But Bob's like stationing at every moment that he can. And Bueller's just like, oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot the station thing. Anyway. I remember the pancake McMuffin. Oh. They not make that anymore? I don't go to McDonald's for breakfast. I rarely go to McDonald's. Man. I remember those. The McGriddles. That's what they called them, right? The McGriddles. Oh, my goodness. Ah, the McGriddles. All right. It's time for the DC sneak peek. We're going to be talking about this week's DC books, which starts DC Infinite Frontier. All right, so I've read the DC books. Here's what I think. We're going to start with The Dreaming, Waking Hours, issue number 8. I believe this book is ending now at issue number 10, and they're taking all these different threads, these different characters, these different ideas and concepts about the land of Fairy and what's been going on there behind the scenes, the characters of Ruin and Jophiel and the Sorceress, and of course Daniel and what's going on in The Dreaming. And it's all now starting to really come to a head. Nick Robles does an amazing job with the artwork. G. Willow Wilson does a great job with the story. I really, really have liked the Sandman Universe Dreaming books, both the Cy Spurrier one and Waking Hours, so really, really solid. Next up, we got Man-Bat issue number 2. Another really cool story in Man-Bat. So this is a story set pre-Death Metal, New Frontier or Infinite Frontier, all that stuff. This is kind of the bridge into getting Man-Bat into the position to be in Justice League Dark like he's been over the last few years. You got a really cool story by Wilgoz, but Sumit Kumar is the artist, and it's very dynamic. It's got some great action scenes, very horrific stuff. In this issue, it's mostly Man-Bat versus the Suicide Squad because of what Man-Bat's been doing. Now the Suicide Squad gets sent after him, and it's the Deadshot Harley Suicide Squad. And it was pretty cool, and just like the first issue, really, really dope. All right. Then we got Sensational Wonder Woman number 1. I think this was a digital first. I'm not sure. It's written by Stephanie Phillips. It's just kind of like, they're just kind of like, I guess, meant to be light, one and done Wonder Woman stories or something like that. But this first one was decent. Wonder Woman versus Dr. Psycho. He's trapped her in this like like fake 50s housewife type scenario. Nothing that we haven't seen before, but it was executed pretty decent. It wasn't a drudge to read, but it didn't really deliver anything new or exciting. So it's just kind of a new Wonder Woman book to kind of capitalize on the fact that there was a movie. Alistair! Sensational Wonder Woman #1. All right, let's get to the big daddies. Here is DC Infinite Frontier #0. This is a giant book. It's $5.99. It's got these framing bits by Joshua Williamson. It's basically a Wonder Woman now post-death metal, okay? So we can just say this now. So we had death metal, it wrapped up, and then Future State happened. Future State was basically Wonder Woman looking on the possible futures of the DC universe, okay? They get into this. So this is Wonder Woman ascending to godhood. They want her to be part of the quintessence, and she's having this journey with Spectre. She wants to check in on where everybody's at. So this is one of those state of the moments at DC, right? So this is like set up for like some Justice League stuff. And yes, Shazam is what they're fucking calling him, y'all. They're calling him Shazam. They're really calling Black Adam Shazam in this book. Anyway, it's got some really nice teases into the Batman stuff. That's a big deal. What's going on A-Day in Arkham, whatever this is about, whatever Scarecrow's doing, whatever Joker's doing, it gets referenced in here, and it gets referenced in a lot of these books that come out this week. So all of the DC Infinite Frontier books, the ones that are labeled with the brand Infinite Frontier, they all really feel connected and happening at the same time or in the same continuity. They feel more like old school comics where they feel like part of a very tight continuity. But this gives you a bunch of glimpses into upcoming DC books. Green Lantern stuff. It's all set up. Set up for Green Lantern, set up for Joker, set up for Batman, set up for Detective Comics. What else we got in here? Set up for Wonder Woman, obviously, for Wonder Girl, for The Flash. There's even a Stargirl bit in here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. I liked it a lot. It's one of those state of the moment kind of things that sets up and launches a lot of cool stuff. It's got a great cover too. Anyway. Then we got Crime Syndicate #1. This is a start of a 6-issue series. Now that the multiverse is reformed post-death metal, all these universes that were destroyed are reforming. So this is a brand new iteration of Earth 3. So some of the characters are very familiar, like Ultraman. Some of the characters are a little bit different, like Superwoman. So there's a little bit of different characters used, a little bit different origins. I didn't really like it that much. It has a slight charm to it, but the book itself felt very clunky and goofy. And not what I was looking for in a Crime Syndicate book, but this is basically the Earth 3 being reborn, and this is the new origin. And then we got Suicide Squad #1, which I was not excited for, but this is really good because, okay, so there's something that happens at Arkham that you get in Infinite Frontier, and all of these books freaking reference it, and Suicide Squad's referencing it, right? So, and it's kind of like in the thick of it. So you get this great sense of the connecting tissue of the DC's Infinite Frontier or whatever. But this was actually a really good issue. It had a really solid artwork that would do Neil Adams proud. Peacemaker's involved. The story's pretty cool. It does relate a little bit to the Future State Suicide Squad book with basically the idea of what Amanda Waller's doing now. She's doing something through multiversal kidnappings and trying to be more proactive with the Suicide Squad. But I was actually very engaged and entertained with this entire book. And even though I didn't really like the DC Future State Suicide Squad, like, I really freaking liked this first issue. So there you go. Then we got the new issue of Batman 106. This was a great issue of Batman. This issue of Batman is freaking fantastic. So freaking good. See, Mike, there's a one I have to approve right there. Batman 106 is written by James Tynion. It's him returning after the Future State stuff, and it's Jorge Jimenez on the artwork, Tomu Mori on the coloring. The artwork is so amazing in this book. This is the new vibe of Batman. He's not super rich anymore. He's running it a little bit more low-key, and you feel that here. You got Barbara back in her Oracle role. You feel that here. The artwork is so freaking dynamic and cool. You got Ghostmaker involved, adding a new dynamic for a partner to Batman. Batman's partners, he's usually a mentor to these people. What happens when it's not a mentor? Like, mentee relationship? What happens when it's actually like kind of like competitive friendship? That's what's going on with him and Ghostmaker here. They're setting up some really big, creepy things that Scarecrow's doing. The artwork is dope. It references all that Arkham stuff. I really liked it. Batman's now going to be $1 more. It's because it's 22 pages of Batman and then the 8-page Damian story by Joshua Williamson that was really freaking good as well. So I enjoyed the hell out of this book. I thought it was freaking fantastic. But the best DC book I read this week is The Swamp Thing, #1 of 10. And if this is successful, there will be more. This is written by Ram V, who's joining us Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Time, here on the channel. Mike Perkins, Mike Spicer, like, oh my goodness, this book was freaking awesome. Ram V and company are introducing a new Swamp Thing. He's an Indian American man, I believe. So that's cool. It's a new character, a new version of Swamp Thing, but it's a slow build into it, right? In this first issue, this definitely leans into horror. It leans into what has made previous runs of Swamp Thing incredibly successful. I freaking loved it. It's got great artwork. It's truly horrific. It's adding some new concepts and some new ideas. It seems very typical horror at times, but at other times it's getting really deep into this new character, introducing a new character, setting up a mystery about his past and his present and definitely his future, his connection to the Swamp Thing. You do not have to have read the Ram V Future State Swamp Thing. This is a completely different story, straight up. This was awesome. Swamp Thing #1, The Swamp Thing #1 by Ram V and Mike Perkins and company. That's definitely my DC pick of the week, and it's definitely pick of the week alert, because that was fan-frickin-tastic. And that was our DC Comics sneak peek. So there you go. Really, guys, DC's got some good books this week. They really frickin' do. I would heavily encourage you to continue reading Batman, read that Swamp Thing, read Suicide Squad, and check out Infinite Frontier. See if anything piques your interest. 90 people in the chat station. That may be the biggest we've ever been. We'll see. I'll write that down. Got to figure it out. Hell yeah. Chaos says, wow, yeah, 90. Great John, Robbie. Thank you. Great John, you do as well, Chaos. Appreciate you. Hey, Jim Mint's in the house. Station, Jim Mint. What's up? I'm trying real hard not to watch Jim's videos and want to buy statues. I buy too many damn toys. Jim, check out some I'm excited to see what you think about this week's DC books. There's some really good fresh starts for DC. Really good. Bueller, what's your Scout Comics discount code? It's Chalupa. Just kidding. It's actually Bueller, I believe. We're going to get some Scout's going to be like, people keep typing in Chalupa. What's going on? It's not working. Now, Swamp Thing was really freaking good. I'm so excited and privileged to have Ram V here this week on the channel, the week that this Swamp Thing book leads, and I'm going to try so hard. Like, we had Joe Corallo on the channel. It was our second time having a conversation with Joe, and really cool cat. And I want to have him back on this possible, as back on the show as much as possible. But I am so fucking nervous to talk to Ram V. I'm so fucking nervous, y'all. Like, Ram V is, to me, like, one of the best writers out there, and he's going to be on here on my... But I'll be cool. I'll be calm. I'll breathe. I got the PCP Army. We're good. But Ram V on the show Thursday. I cannot wait because his Swamp Thing #1 is so freaking good. Epoch says, Joe is hilarious. What an interesting chap. Yeah, he really, really is. And he also knows so much about the industry. He was schooling me on pre-crisis DC continuity. He's always got fun facts for us. I know that he watches the show sometimes because usually when we talk about him, he'll just randomly pop in. But Joe is great. And I want to do a regular thing where we do the Joe bit, like every month and a half, 2 months. We just have Joe on. We just shoot the shit. So that's the plan. So yeah, and Rom's got some new books coming out, like Radio Apocalypse from Vault Comics. Y'all just wait too. Bob's about to get really deep into some white noise because what was the book? We were talking about Dan Waters. It was Picture of Everything Else. Bob's really liking Picture of Everything Else. And I explained that Dan Waters is part of the writing studio that Ron V, Alex Packnudel, and Ryan O'Sullivan are part of. And I think he's about to do a deep dive on some things. I recommended Coffin Bound to Bob, and I don't know how Bob's going to respond to Coffin Bound, to be honest with y'all. I don't know. That's not a really... I think Bob will really dig the first arc, but I don't know what he's going to feel about the second arc, because the second arc is really questioning the idea of faith. But I think it's doing it in an incredibly well, real, balanced, and nuanced way, where the idea of, say, drugs can be equated to God. It's almost like an addiction people have. It's almost like a form of escapism. And I'm not saying that about anybody's religion or anything. I don't want anybody talking shit about anybody's religion because, my own belief system is crazy. I mean, that's what a belief system is, BS. There's something real about faith, but there's also something real about the idea that sometimes faith can be an escape, like drugs. And that's something that's really, really explored in Coffin Bound Book 2. And I really, really fucking hope we get a volume 3. I'm getting the sense of the story that maybe each volume will be centered around a character. Like, I feel like maybe, I can't remember the character's name, but the bald chick who in the first issue, she's like strips off her skin on stage. Like, I think the next story may be about her. But A Coffin Bound is one of the most surreal, cerebral, beautiful, and gross and grimy and gritty things I've seen in comic shops in the last few years. And yeah, Fearscape is great too. That's Ryan O'Sullivan. By the way, all of the White Noise cats are joining us this year. So we've already had Alex, but he's joining us again. Rom V is this week. So Rom's this week. Alex will be coming back again. Then Ryan and Dan have agreed to be on the show. So very excited. And yeah, Coffin Bound is wild. Picture of Everything Else was my number 1 last week. Me too, Chaos. Me too. I think it was my book of the month, if I remember correctly. It's been a lot of streams back to back almost this week, it feels. But I'm pretty sure that was my number 1 of the month. Fearscape's great, though, and Dark Interlude's a great sequel to that. If you like Ryan O'Sullivan, have you read Void Trip? It's almost like it's like a space version of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's like Fear and Loathing in outer space or something. It's really freaking good. Coffin Bound reminds me of Pretty Deadly, the Draconic book. Is that what you're talking about, homie? To me, it's like something like, it's got the poetry of a Neil Gaiman Sandman book, but it is a grindhouse. Like sex, drugs, rock and roll, violence, visceral, existential dread. Yeah, we talked about Void Trip. You said it was like Odyssey. You're right. I do a lot of streams, man. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm not trying to disrespect you. Yeah, like the Draconic book. Okay, I've only read the first couple issues of that. I didn't quite get into it, but we're definitely going to check it out. No, this isn't. Y'all, I rarely check my phone during streams, but I'm really, really freaking excited about what this email may. I got a tracking number for my Spawn Kickstarter action figure. Holy shit. Oh my God. I've got, y'all, this just happened live. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just got my, that's freaking awesome. I just got my tracking number for my Spawn Kickstarter action figure. Bruh. I kickstarted that shit like at the beginning of the pandemic. Todd just sent it to me. They had a trouble with the, we were expecting these figures in fall. Okay. and they got stuck in customs because of some bureaucratic bullshit. So Todd's been sending these updates every single like week. We get this update, and he's like, we're finally about to get some tracking numbers out, and I literally just got mine. So there you go. Paradiso, I've only read the first book, but I have both. So I'm excited. The thing is, I'm so excited about this damn Spawn thing, this Kickstarter, but like they're already like selling for like triple, quadruple what I paid for it. But maybe it's a thing I'll sell one day, but I ain't selling it for a while. Hell no. I'm so damned excited. It cemented my Spawn fandom. Oh my God, I just got a tracking number. I'm so... Yes! I got to somehow remember. Where are we at? We're like an hour 17 in. I got to look at that, see if I can clip it out and send it to Todd. Be like, yo, dude, this is the moment I got my tracking number. No, Comics Explained hasn't responded to me yet. I'm going to have to send him another email. I'm sure he gets a lot. I've just read Wasted Space #1. I'm really confused on the concept and different characters. Does it get less confusing? It's okay. Have you ever read Preacher? It's just basically this. This dude was the follower of the creator, basically a god. For lack of a better term, let's just say God. And God, he's the only one who saw God and heard his voice, the creator, they call him. And so he became this big like televangelist almost in the galaxy. This Preacher meets Star Wars. And he eventually, because of his words, he leads the galaxy into being overtaken by this empire. Like what he is leading the people to comply with based on his visions of the creator. It leads the galaxy into this tyrannical empire. And so since then, he's dropped off the face of the planet or the galaxy, and he's just spending his time wasting space, getting fucked up, sleeping with a bunch of different sex workers, things like that. Just kind of just spending his life in this debauchery, pleasure-seeking, hedonistic lifestyle, right? And so then he winds up getting this calling to find the creator and make him pay and explain why his word led the galaxy into such this big thing. But the book itself, over the span of its entirety, has become a musing on modern philosophy and how different opposing philosophies and just the idea of being a decent human person and nihilism meeting optimism. And there's basically a dissection on the human experience, right? And it's, to me, one of the most imaginative, raunchy. It's intending to be raunchy, like a dirty version of Star Wars, but with this really philosophical groundwork that's laid in throughout it. I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite comics. So there you go. I say stick with it. I was super confused by the first issue too. Read the first five or the first arc. If you don't like it after the second time reading the first five, you're just not going to like the book. It's definitely not going to be for everybody. A lot of people don't really like Hayden Sherman's artwork. I adore Hayden Sherman's artwork. I think their work is fan-frickin-tastic and very dense, detailed, textured, and I think the coloring by Jason Wordie helps elaborate that. So there you go. All right, so we're about to have some spoilers for WandaVision. So if you don't want any spoilers for WandaVision, it's time to bow out right now because we're about to start our critical incision on WandaVision. All right, so WandaVision released its penultimate episode on Friday. Once again, spoilers, your last warning. Spoilers for WandaVision. We already knew it was Agatha all along. And now I thought this whole episode was going to be more focused on Agatha, who she is, and her involvement. And it starts off, and we get this idea that she's being burned at the stake in Salem, Massachusetts, back in the day of the Salem witch trials, which I already said that that's where she's from in the comics. She's a survivor of the Salem witch trials, but they put a spin on it. It was her fellow witches, her fellow magicians that tried to stop her, and she was more powerful than them. So it starts there, but then you find out that the episode is mostly about what has happened to Wanda. Okay? There have been plenty of things that I have been wrong about with WandaVision, but there have been some things that I've been pretty spot on with. One thing that I was spot on with, everybody kept questioning, why sitcoms? Why are they doing sitcoms? And I was like, well, I think first of all, it's Marvel Studios' first foray into television. I know they've done Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know they got the Netflix stuff, but I don't think that really counts to them. But WandaVision is so an essential part of the MCU, right? That they were also, just, first of all, referencing the history of television, okay? And the family sitcom. Here's the thing. Not just the history of sitcoms, but the history of family sitcoms. Why was the 90s episode Malcolm in the Middle and not something like Friends or Seinfeld, a much more defining sitcom of the decade? Because it wasn't a family-oriented one. Do you get what I'm saying? So I said these are obviously, I think, based on shows that she watched when she was growing up. And 100% confirmed. We now know that Pietro is in fact fake Pietro. I still hope that Evan Peters is somebody, something, because there you go. That would be neat. We also have this idea here. If Monica had her genetic material changed by going in and out of the bubble, do the people in the Hex have their DNA changed? Are they now all of a sudden mutants birthed in the Marvel Universe? Are the first Marvel Cinematic Universe mutants her children? Whatever, right? Agatha's got her kids. Is Agatha the villain of the piece? That's the question. We were led to believe that she went and stole Vision's remains, right? That is, in fact, not what happened. She saw Vision's remains. She freaked out. She left. One of the big reveals in this episode is that Sword still has Vision's remains. They've been trying to rebuild him, but they're rebuilding him without a soul, just like in the comic. And when Vision was rebuilt without his soul, without his emotional connection, which ruined his marriage to Wanda in the comic books, right? And that's why was it West Coast Avengers, what is it? Is it 45 or something? That book skyrocketed in price, first appearance of the White Vision, right? And by the way, in the Avengers video game in the 90s, that's White Vision too. And it's because he was soulless, right? So that's what this Vision is. Where is Vision's soul? Well, I guess it was the Mind Stone, right? Well, guess what? I think somebody just recreated the Mind Stone. And I think that was Wanda. And I think she's able to recreate the Mind Stone in particular because of a connection she has to it, which is why they showed her coming back into contact with it and it breaking and becoming the true Mind Stone. There's a connection there. There's also the idea of the Nexus. That would be a weird stretch if they referenced the Nexus in that commercial just to frickin' just throw it away. The idea of the Nexus being is that Wanda is the same figure in each multiverse. And it ends with Agatha having the kids, and she's like, yo, Agatha felt the power, and she wants to know why Scarlet Witch has this, or why Wanda has this connection to this power, this arcane power, without years of developing the abilities to do it, right? So, right? And then, so she's curious. And I said that already. I was like, because in the comics, she wasn't always like a villainous thing. There are moments in the comics where they like, is she a good guy? Is she a bad guy? But for the most part, Agatha Harkness is a good person in the comics. They're either going straight out villain, or she is just straight up curious about what's going on with Wanda. And there is some other reveal that's about to happen that will probably lead in to Doctor Strange. Is it Mephisto? Everybody seems to believe that it's Mephisto. So there you go. But yeah, first appearance of the White Vision in a video game is that Avengers arcade cabinet. So There you go. We should do a collaboration, Bueller. Top 10 arcade cabinets to buy based on speculation. Somebody earlier asked me my Marvel and DC specs, and I said Action Comics #1 and Amazing Fantasy 15. Do you think I did a good job there? Anyway, so I think that Wanda has his soul. I think Agatha is just intrigued by how she's able to do this, and she knows about her because at the end of the episode she says, you are using chaos magic and you are the Scarlet Witch. The chaos magic stuff, from as far as what I remember, comes from the Kurt Busiek bit in the George Perez run, which I thought was amazing. Bendis completely threw that out the window and disassembled, so I'm glad they're bringing that back in. I just want to confer that last week, of course, we had the Teen Dog Shades night. We were talking about chaos magic. This is not actually what we're referring to when they refer to it here. This is the Marvel form of it. But she goes, this is chaos magic, Wanda, and you are the Scarlet Witch. And I think when she says you are the Scarlet Witch, and we see that silhouette of like a comic book Scarlet Witch, I think right there they're telling us that you are the Scarlet Witch, which is this Nexus being, this one entity that is in each and every single universe. And now the study of her being the Nexus being and her having all of this power, spontaneous creation, basically, that is what leads her into Doctor Strange trying to unlock her full abilities, understand them maybe, understand the reality of the Nexus, and unlocking the multiverse. So that's where I'm at right now with it. One of my favorite things about WandaVision is that it's so incredibly crafted that it keeps us guessing. And we're in a day and age now where, for the most part, we expect a show to drop all at once, and we'll stay up all night watching all 8 episodes, all 10 episodes. It's like one long, elongated movie. Sorry for being redundant, right? But this has totally brought back this idea of us talking in theories. Like Mandalorian had people talking, water cooler talk, we used to call it, right? But WandaVision has us talking about theories, ideas. We're engaging our imaginations. We're thinking. That is a really good skill, and that is what episodic television is made for. And I think WandaVision right now is one of the best shows of the year, and that was my critical incision on WandaVision. So there you go. Station. How y'all doing? Yeah, Man-Thing guarded the Nexus. The Nexus of realities. That's a different thing. That's like the thinnest point of that reality to the other realities. Kind of connected, but different. Yeah, I was initially going to do a Superman and Lois bit tonight too. But I just didn't watch it. I thought about watching it today, but I watched this Cellar Dweller movie. We're about to do a movie review of Cellar Dweller, so my Sunday morning ritual was damn, I should have set up that image I took. Psycho 2 was my Sunday morning ritual, but I don't want to do a movie review for Psycho 2 because we're talking about that on Dylan's Horror Show this week for March Madness. By the way, March Madness starts this week, y'all. Let's throw up that list again. Friday night, The Cell. Saturday night, Psycho franchise. And then look at the rest of the list. Pretty much most of these can be streamed pretty easy. Mostly on Tubi, Hulu, or Amazon Prime. So there you go. But I did watch a second movie tonight. And it was Cellar Dweller. But before we get into that, I want you to tell me right now, what do you think about WandaVision? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And if you watched the Superman and Lois show, what'd you think about it? Clarence says, Superman and Lois was decent. Don't like the mental illness angle. I know they will milk that shit to death. Guy said, Superman rocked. Fable says for WandaVision, they were smart to string the shows out instead of dropping the whole season at once. They're also smart to have the first 2 episodes on the first day. They probably, maybe in hindsight, should have done the first 3 in the first day, but doing the first 2 was very beneficial, I think. Keith says, do you think Vision is going to die, or do you think he's going to go into the white version? I think that Wanda is going to be able to replace his soul into his body after a battle. Mad Respect hasn't watched either. Clarence says WandaVision is okay. 62 hasn't watched it. I like WandaVision. I like it a lot. Epoch says Superman and Lois feels like a trap. Lure us in with classical Clark and switch it to identity politics, just like Supergirl. Just after all, it's CW. Yeah, it's going to be about those kids. I'll tell you that. Kids don't think like me, but it's okay. I didn't think like the people above me either. Trade Paper Dad says WandaVision is really good. The story crafting is well done. Keith says I agree with you. SCG16110 says, sending some love, live stream style. Yo, Robbie, my dude, you're all right. Station. Vision is already dead, but I think Wanda has the ability to recreate the Mind Stone. I think she has a connection to the Mind Stone. I think that's what that bit was in that show. Chamorro says, WandaVision, great show. Haven't watched Superman and Lois yet. Herminio says, WandaVision is epic and so freaking amazing. TSG says, WandaVision is good, man. Really appreciated diving into Wanda's backstory because she's such a complex character that's somewhat overlooked in the movies and at times in the comics. And it's easy to write her off. BJ says, is Vengeance of Vampirella good or bad? I have not read any Vengeance of Vampirella. I will tell you this, though. I'm intrigued by some of the covers. I did just recently pick up, though, the first trade paperback Christopher Priest Vampirella run. There's always been something about that character that appeals to me. I don't know what that could be. But I'll be checking it out. Maybe if I can read it this week, we'll talk about it next week on Rockin Robbie Live. But I haven't read Vengeance of Vampirella. But I think it has some really good covers. 62 Lefty Blue says, saving my money for HBO Max, starting about the 20th to watch all the good stuff for the next 3 months. I am so freaking pumped for the Snyder Cut, y'all. So freaking excited. I really like how they are building up Wanda to lead into the next phase, and I also like how Disney can link up the Fox and Sony universe. Yeah, me too. Oh, I hope I don't butcher this name, but we got Amin Abdallah here. WandaVision, great show, but Superman and Lois' first episode was okay. But no in CW, it can go uphill or downhill after here. Yeah, 100%. I like how the Scarlet Witch is the title in the MCU. Me too. I do too. Do you think WandaVision will lead into a House of M in the MCU? No. Comics with Bueller says, thought the new Superman show wasn't bad. Bueller, what's your show about tomorrow? Don't forget to check the new Coffee and Comic show tomorrow morning with Bueller and Bob. One of my favorite shows. I watch it every single week. It's one of the best shows out there. Let me be honest with you guys. It's the best comic book talk show out there. It really, really is. And I cannot wait to be a part of it one day. I mean, I am a part of it, and I appreciate you, Bueller, but I can't wait to actually be there. Keith says, The Boys is amazing. GZ Crazy 1 says, like the dynamic of Superman and Lois, they have different ideas of parenting, but are still a team. That makes sense. Clarence says, man, Snyder Cut is 4 hours. You'll need an adult diaper to watch that shit. No, you won't, Clarence, because it's on HBO Max. You know what that means? Pause. Love it. I'm down. And, it got revealed, they were like, by the way, everybody, it's going to end on a cliffhanger that's probably for a movie that's a sequel that's never going to happen. Exactly. I don't care. And when it ends on that cliffhanger and we're all just like, no, we want to see more. That's when we look back at Warner Brothers and go, fuck you. And then maybe they'll give us more. Hell, we got a multiverse in the DC universe. If they sunk this movie into the Snyder Cut, surely they'll give us a sequel if it's successful. If it makes them some money, we'll see. Sleepy Reader says the Bueller seal of approval on Superman. Which is, I thought it wasn't bad. Bueller didn't seem to be like a big Superman guy. Bueller's show tomorrow is about why are there so many key comics now? And he says, plus we get an A-OK from Two Brothers, and they sent me a Grail. Hell yeah. I think Two Brothers is going to be at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo in April. So is Pop Culture Philosophers, by the way. Maybe I should get them on the show. Who's going to be the next Captain America? In the MCU? I think if they're going to pick one of them, it's going to be Falcon. It'll be Sam, but I think it's going to be like a shared role. You're right, it's AT&T. I just fed my cat sour cream, and I think he's doing just fine. Holy crap. All right, so this afternoon I watched a movie. It was one that was recommended to me. Let me grab it over here. It was recommended to me to buy this set by Dylan on DVD. Weird stretch. But we're going to be talking about Cellar Dweller. So Cellar Dweller is a movie from 1988. It's unrated. I'm going to read you the premise here. It says, the promising career of a horror comic artist ends in a fiery death when he confronts the carnage of his own imagination in his studio. Years later, an ardent devotee of the artist's work becomes a resident in his house, now an art academy, unaware that her imagination has revived the grotesque murderer of the past, and that she may be the next victim. So yeah, Cellar Dweller, 1988. It's worth a watch because it goes on to the idea that we were kind of talking about last week when we were talking about Grant Morrison and the hypersigil, about how art can create reality. So Jeffrey Combs starts off in the prologue. He is the artist and writer of a book called Cellar Dweller, and he writes, it's kind of very much an EC Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror type book. And, you got some really nice Bernie Wrightson type artwork there. I don't know who the artist was there, but that's very Wrightson-esque to me. And he realizes that because he's using his references from an actual, cursed grimoire or something, he creates this monster, and he's, killing this woman, right in front of him. And he winds up burning the pages and himself in this fiery inferno to wrap it all up. Then you've got this new character years later. And she is an artist, and she's a big fan of his work. And she winds up to go live in his old studio, his old house, which is now an art academy. And so she gets to meet these other artists in the business. There's this woman there that it's very much like a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Friday the 13th Part 5 type vibe at times. And also she meets these other artists there, including the dude from Head of the Class, who's like a bigwig at Nickelodeon and Viacom now. But she uses the same book. She finds the book in the cellar, and she starts recreating the artwork and the spell, and this monster comes back to life, and then she's freaking out, and basically the monster kills everybody else in the frickin' house. It's pretty exploitative. It's pretty fun. The creature effects are absolutely amazing in this movie. It's got a really great sick, twisted ending. Cellar Dweller. Absolutely brilliant creature effects. Look at that creature. And the creature's just eating things up, gobbling up. You got a little bit of Jeffrey Combs, and that's nice. He should have been in there more. Maybe some more flashbacks. It's only an hour and 17 minutes. I don't know if this is available on Tubi or something like that. I'm sure somebody can figure it out. But it wasn't that bad. And yeah, y'all notice, that is the dude from Head of the Class. He was like the cool guy. You know what I'm saying? He's the cool, suave guy in this one. But lots of gore, lots of great moments that you're used to in 80s films. Really cool stuff. Cellar Dweller from 1988. And this is my copy right here. This is the All-Night Movie Marathon Volume 2. I have Volume 1 and 2. And this has Cellar Dweller on it right there. The Shape of Nightmares to Come. It also has Dungeon Master, Contamination Point 7, and Catacombs. The first one I've watched was Cellar Dweller. And I liked it. Oh, that's nice. It's got a nice reversible too. Right there. So that's nice. Anyway, Cellar Dweller. It's okay. It's okay. I want to know right now, have you seen Cellar Dweller? And if so, what did you think about it? And we now pause for station identification. Station. All right. Let's see. Any Jeff Lemire recommendations? Just finished his Moon Knight run. Crazy comic I've read right after Ice Cream Man. Jeff Lemire recommendations. Anything Black Hammer related. Royal City. Descender. Leading into Ascender. Family Tree, which has got one issue left, about to wrap up. If you look in the description below, actually, now that I think about it, there's a link to the Pop Culture Philosophers Amazon Marketplace. You can follow that link. There is a section on there about Jeff Lemire recommended reads. And if you buy anything from that link, we get like $1. So there you go. Comics with Bueller. Bueller says Noctera wasn't bad. Okay. That dude does not have any junk. You're right. It has a really good ending, too. Like, I really like the ending. It is cheesy and it is bad. If I had to give it you digs, I'd give it 3. Because I appreciate it for what it was trying to do. Damn, if that ain't a Full Moon throwback, I don't know what it is. It's an Empire film, so it's not as good as a lot of the other ones, but it was decent enough, I guess. It was okay. I'm glad I watched it, and it's going to make Dylan's day when I tell him that I watched it on Dylan's Horror Show Saturday. Your station screenshot with the 2 little monsters. What movie is that from? It's from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which is where we get Station from. So there you go. Best horror movie you've ever seen? Suspiria, the original, Dario Argento. If you want to know my favorite horror movies of all time, as well as Dylan's, check out the first episode of Dylan's Horror Show over at Dylan's Horror Show, the YouTube channel. All right, so we just did DC Sneak Peek. Really good week for DC. We did the critical incision on WandaVision. And we did the Cellar Dweller movie review. So now I want to know a question. Let's ask the same question to everybody that Clarence just asked me. I said Suspiria. But I'm going to ask you, what's the best horror movie you've ever seen? What's your favorite horror movie? Answer that during the break. We'll be right back with my top 5 movies of 1981, some more chat, and some show and tell. And you never know what else. We will be right back here on Pop Culture Philosophers. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live. I am Rockin Robbie Billups here on Pop Culture Philosophers Station PCP Army. Join the PCP Army over at Facebook, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, you might as well follow us there. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can support the channel with Super Chat or over at patreon.com/PCP like these fine people right there. Thank you all so much for the support. We've had a great show. Excuse me. But that wasn't for your ears. Anyway, we've had a great show. We've been talking about comic books, our favorites of last week, what we're looking forward to coming up. We talked about the DC books this week, which I think are incredibly strong. Y'all, there's some weak ones, but they're strong. We talked about WandaVision. We talked about Cellar Dweller from 1988, y'all. First time watching that today. Changed my life. But I'm glad I watched it. I love that shit. Now we got some excitement coming on. Chaos in Comics is in the house. He says, oh, Dylan, is he even reading comics anymore? He is, but it's not as much. He's more excited about the horror. Clarence says, do you think Hellboy 1 is better than Hellboy 2? That's tough. That's tough. Do I think Hellboy 1 is better than 2? No. No. I think 2's the better film. Out of left field, but thoughts on the Parker series. Got to say, Cook can do no wrong. First comic to turn me to non-superhero books. I mad respect to you. I love Darwin Cook's artwork and his I love New Frontier. I love his Before Watchmen. It's the only Before Watchmen book I like was his Minutemen book. Love Ego. Big fan of his work. But I've never read the Parker series, so I need to. All right. Then we got a super chat from Twitch. 469. Is this the average score of the movie, right? You know it. Thank you so much, Twitch. Let me tell you about these two young men I know. It's Cap and Iron Man. They are doing whatever they can do to fight the onslaught of onslaught. By the way, Thanos is there too, and Venom's crawling up the wall with nothing to do. They don't understand that the world is in the hands of Kid Cudi. Station. $69, dudes. There are worse things out tonight than vampires. PCP. All right, that was fun. When we left for break, I asked you to name me your favorite horror movie. I listed mine as Suspiria by Dario Argento. So now let's see what people say. Stefan says 28 days later. Bueller says beaches. AJW, never watched any of the Bill and Ted movies. I've always wondered why you said station all the time. There you go. Ronald in the house with Halloween. For Horror Fest this year, we're doing all the Halloween films. Every single one of them. Why? Who knows? Chaos says, favorite horror movie? Event Horizon. Bruh. We're doing Event Horizon in March Madness. Let me find it. There it is. March Madness at the end of March. You see it right there. March 26th, Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. We're doing a live movie discussion of Event Horizon. You should join us. You should totally join us, bruh. Let us know. March Madness starts this week, by the way, with our look at The Cell. Continues over at Dylan's Horror Show on Saturday with the Psycho franchise. But before all of that, we got Rom V here on the channel at 1 p.m. Central Time in the afternoon, Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. Hamburger Basket says, Day of the Dead, the soundtrack is also great. Station, my man, because John Harrison soundtrack. It's my favorite horror movie soundtrack ever. It's my favorite. I love it. Oh my goodness. And then the gorillas use it. BJ says The Conjuring and Evil Dead. Very, very well done. AJW says Evil Dead 2. Hell yeah. Hey, Joe Corralo's in the house. We just had Joe. Hell yeah. Joe, thank you for joining us. He says the original Suspiria is still probably my favorite horror movie I've seen too. Though I do like the remake, seeing the original Suspiria on the big screen a few years ago was great too. I've never seen the original on screen. That sounds amazing. I've also never seen the remake, Joe. So I've been meaning to check it out. Maybe I'll try to check it out in time for next week, so I can comment on it. But, bruh, next time Joe's on the channel, we're going to do nothing but talk about Suspiria. You just wait and see. 62 Lefty Blue says Aliens. Fable says The Evil Dead. Stefan says Tales from the Crypt, Demon Days. Hell yeah. Brian says It, the original one. Hell yeah. A horror movie. Twitch says Sinister got me good. I was genuinely creeped out by it and that twist ending. Damn, I've never seen Sinister. Stefan says it was disturbing. Lewis Versatility says The Sixth Sense. That's a really good movie. Oh no, I just dropped down like crazy. I was apparently behind a lot of comments here. Oh my goodness. Hey, Brian's in the house. I'll get back down to you. Whoa, I missed a lot of comments. Holy crap. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Chamorro Cinema says, Demon Knight was amazing. One of my favorites. Bordello Blood, not so much. BJ says, The Sign. AJ says, The Void. Stefan says, I watched Midsummer and didn't dig it, so never gave Heredity a chance. That's going to be Mike's pick. In May, we're doing Crew's Choice throughout May. May's my birthday month. So on the week of my birthday, it's my pick. And then I'm giving Brooks a pick, I'm giving Mike a pick, and I'm giving Jelani a pick. Because Strix had whole polls devised around him. But Mike has picked Heredity. Brooks has picked Enter the Dragon. I have picked Southland Tales. We are still awaiting Jelani's pick. That's our May lineup. Keith says, Army of Darkness. Fable with Night of the Demons. AJ with Hellraiser. Hell yeah. Let me drop down a little bit. Fable with Poltergeist. Does The Lighthouse count? I don't know. I haven't seen it, but it's about madness, so sure, let's let it count. AJ says, In the Mouth of Madness. We're doing that in a couple weeks here on the channel. Alien, Hellraiser. Chamorro says, Event Horizon's an all-time favorite of his. He's going to be on that show, too. If we have Chamorro and Chaos, that would be amazing. Brian with Leprechaun. Brian Dubs, the Brianiac, says, I still need to see Suspiria. Poltergeist is probably the scariest movie for me. I was fairly young when I saw it. Dropping down. Trade Paper Dad, Nightmare on Elm Street #1. Stefan, 28 Days Later. SCG says, best horror flick off the cuff, Dead Alive. Oh, I love that shit. Dead Alive's great. Tin Man with Event Horizon. Yeah, 28 Days is great. Nightmare's a classic. AJ with the Jacob's Ladder. Wishmaster 1. Hell yeah. I remember The Hitchhiker. Where's J-Strick? Oh, there's J-Strick. What's up, J-Strick? J-Strick says, gotta go with Scream. I was there. I pre-ordered that shit. Clarence says, Silver Bullet. Ganja House Medium says, can't wait to see the Ron V interview. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Jelani says, Phantoms. It's going to be his pick. Wouldn't that be fucked up? Anyway, some nice picks there. Nice picks. I'll go with Suspiria. That leads me to the next topic. It's the top 5. So Fable and Dylan tagged me in this bullshit on Instagram. And when you tag me, you're tagging Pop Culture Philosophers, by the way. So Pop Culture Philosophers on Instagram, that is basically me. That's my personal one, but like, it's just branded Pop Culture Philosophers, because why the hell if not? So they went this like pick. You get, hey, what's up, Brett Hess? Station. So the idea is top 5 movies of the year of your birth. Now, I feel like every time I do one of these chain letter things or whatever, I feel so stupid. So I decided, let's just make a bit of it and use it for the top 5. So I'm going to do my top 5 movies of the year of my birth, which is 1981. So I'm asking you right now, as I'm delivering this whole pontification on the movies of my birth year, let me know the top 5 favorite movies of your birth year. Give me the year and then list the movies. And here are my top 5 favorite movies of 1981, the year of the Robbie. At number 5, we have Mel Brooks's History of the World Part 1. I cannot tell you how much I fucking love this movie. It cracks me up even to this day. I'm a huge fan of Mel Brooks, and this was one of those movies, along with Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles, that I watched over and over. Oh, and Spaceballs, a little-known film. But History of the World to me has a special place in my heart. I've always been a history buff, and I think that this movie is clever as well as just being absolutely ridiculous. At number 5, History of the World Part 1. At number 4, The Howling. The Howling is, in my opinion, the 3rd greatest werewolf film of all time. It's directed by Joe Dante. It's got an amazing cast. We have talked about this recently on many streams, but The Howling, the creature effects, the acting, the pacing, the whole idea of this hippie cult kind of thing, and it's just this, they're all werewolves, and I love the cute doggy werewolf at the end, but The Howling is one of those movies that has always held a special place in my heart. Werewolves have always been one of my favorite monsters. And in fact, I think 2 of the top 3 werewolf films of all time came out the year I was born. And the next one would be number 3. It's An American Werewolf in London, the John Landis film. This movie's awesome because it's in the spirit of something like a Hatchet, in the spirit of something like Hostel. It starts off like it's a bro-y comedy, and then it winds up just getting more and more horrific and having something rather profound to say, unlike Hatchet, I would say. Hatchet has some nice things to say about the genre, but this has something to say about humanity, the monster, the evil within. Both of these movies do. At number 4, The Howling. At number 3, An American Werewolf in London. Great creature effects, the best werewolf you will ever see, the best werewolf transformation you will ever see. FCG. It's all about Rick Baker and his protege. I cannot remember his name ever. It's probably down there in the credits somewhere. But the special effects in both of these movies are absolutely fantastic. At number 2, Knight Riders. I keep telling you guys that Knight Riders is the absolute best George A. Romero film. It stars Ed Harris. It's got Tom Savini. It's got others, but the basic premise is this. It's about this group of modern-day knights in 1981 modern day, right? 1981 knights that go around. They're a biker gang, but they all literally live by this, like, Avalon, King Arthur knight code of honor, okay? And they're traveling Renaissance fair to Renaissance fair doing these jousting tournaments. And the leader of this group is Ed Harris. And he literally lives by this code, and it's kind of what the basis of this society. They feel like they live free. And then Tom Savini plays a character where all of a sudden the news starts picking up on what they're doing. And it's kind of fascinating. They kind of go viral. For 1981, they go viral. And they start getting a little bit of fame. And then you get introduced to this conflict between these two sides. Like, we're doing this for the honor of it, the code of it, right? But then you have this idea of like, no, we need to make money. We need to become something with this. We need to, and it goes into this battle and it ends so tragically, but so fucking fantastically. My number 2 is Knight Riders from 1981, a very underappreciated George A. Romero film. And at number 1, it's The Evil Dead. I loved it when I saw so much Evil Dead loved when I asked you what your favorite horror movie was, because my favorite film of the year of my birth, 1981, is The Evil Dead. I love this movie so much. We have talked about it over and over. It's been on so many of my top 5s. It is slam bang fantastic. It's a video nasty. It's in your face. It's humorous, at times very unintentionally humorous, but it all works, and it sets up all of what's to come. Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Ash versus the Evil Dead, the comic books, and the remake and everything. But this one to me is more visceral. It's more straight up horror. Even though it does kind of veer into comedic tones at times, it's not as slapsticky as the sequels get. I feel like this movie has a raw edginess to it that I absolutely adore, and I still would say it's probably my favorite of the entire franchise. So that was my top 5 favorite films from the year of my birth, 1981. And just a weird stretch even further, I have them. I realized today when I came up with this list, I own all these movies. So there's my Mel Brooks collection box set, and it has History of the World in it, obviously. It's not in its own individual case, which I really liked about my DVD set, but whatever. There's my copy of The Howling. So we're recapping. Number 5 was History of the World Part 1. Number 4 was The Howling. Number 3 was An American Werewolf in London. Number 2 was Night Riders. And there's another one of my DVD Weird Stretches of the Night. It's a new segment, by the way. Look out for it every week. But there's my copy of Night Riders. If you've never seen this movie, it is really freaking good. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. And my number 1, Evil Dead. There's my Evil Dead right there. It's all it has is a commentary. It's like special feature, all new commentary. Where's all the other shit? Why did I ever upgrade to a Blu-ray copy that didn't have all the... What's the definitive... Evil Dead Blu-ray. Anyway. Let's see. Pete throwing in with his favorite horror movie, Reanimator. Station. We love Reanimator. Yeah, Mel Brooks is awesome. Fable says, Instagram was fine, but I'll take a Rockin Robbie segment instead any day. You got it. That was you and Dylan made that happen, Fable. Tin Man says, History of the World in Cinema. Saw History of the World in the cinema, 1981. Awesome. I was a baby. I wasn't. No. But, yeah, Max, the 15. God gave us these 10. These 15. These 10 commandments. I love it so much. Fun fact, the movie wasn't released the year I was born, but I was named after Emilio Estevez's character Kirby in St. Elmo's Fire. Very fun fact, Kirby. Awesome. I think that's pretty dope, to be honest. I would have been rather named Bender after Judd Nelson from Breakfast Club. Wouldn't that be wild? Brett says, I watch The Howling like once a month. American Werewolf's so awesome. Chamorro was born in 85. His top 5 are Goonies, Teen Wolf, Back to the Future, Day of the Dead, Fright Night. What a great year for fucking cinema. Bruh. Never heard of Night Riders. Check it out. It's cool. I think it's going to be cheesy by some people's definitions of movies today, but I think it's Romero's best film. And my favorite zombie film is a Romero film, so there you go. Herminio is from 1979. He says his favorites are Alien, Rocky, The Warriors, The Muppet Movie, and Dracula 1979. You talking about that sexy-ass Franklin Jella Dracula? Hell yeah, my man. Sexiest Dracula ever on cinema. Seriously. Hell yeah. I like this. Fucking chain letter, but we'll make it a bit here on the show. Why not? We'll do it. Evil Dead practically invented the sketchy cabin in the woods. Yes, Evil Dead is a defining film in the genre of horror that we really got to understand. Twitch from 1984 says Beverly Hills Cop, Terminator, Gremlins, Ghostbusters, Muppets Take Manhattan. Station. Great picks. Kirby says, I love History of the World, one of my top favorites. It's good to be the king. Trade Paper Dad, 1976. Bruh, I literally posted this up in the PCP Army last week. I said 1976 is one of the best years in cinema. What's your favorite? My favorite was Taxi Driver. Going down the list, hit number 5 for Trade Paper Dad, born in 1976. Bad News Bear, great movie. Number 4, Carrie, great movie. Number 3, The Omen, great movie. Number 2, Taxi Driver, great movie. Number 1, Rocky. What a great year for cinema, man. And you got The Network that same year. Come on. SCG, Mel Brooks, 12 Chairs. Check it out. Took me all along to find it. Totally worth it. Yeah, it's totally worth it. And it's on my set. I've seen it. I've seen all these films. I love it. This set, by the way, has The 12 Chairs, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, Silent Movie, High Anxiety, History of the World, To Be or Not to Be, Spaceballs, and Robin Hood Men in Tights. It just really doesn't have The Producers, which I do have on DVD still over there, and Dracula Dead or Loving It, which I'm really not a fan of that one, to be honest. So 12 Chairs is great, though. My favorite Mel Brooks film, though, might be The Producers or Young Frankenstein. It's probably Young Frankenstein, but I also have a very much a fondness, because I'm a musical guy, I'm very much a fondness for The Producers, the original and the musical, which I've seen on stage, on the touring edition, and the movie musical I really like as well. My Evil Dead DVD has some features. Yeah, the last DVD I had before I got that Blu-ray, I had the Necronomicon edition of 1 and 2, but I got rid of them because they wound up being worth money. So I need to find a more definitive version on Blu-ray. I'm sure there's one out there. Ooh, TSG from 1996. This is going to be interesting top 5. Well, actually, a top 3, because he's only seen the 3 he can think of. Number 3, Fargo. Number 2, Happy Gilmore. Number 1, Scream. Bruh. Great. Brian says, Coming to America, Bloodsport, and Short Circuits. 87 or 9? 88? 87, right? Bloodsport's in 87, right? 88. Coming to America's 88. No, Coming to America's from 2021. No, it's 1988. Yeah, 1988. Nice. I had this section. I was like 87, 89? No, it's 88, Robbie. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 62 Lefty Blues was 62. Hey, that makes sense. Number 5, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane or The Longest Day. Number 4, Lolita. 3, Lawrence of Arabia. 2, The Man Who Shot Liberty Vance. And number 1, the original Cape Fear. Station 62. Hell yeah. And by the way, 62 also says Night Riders was great. Yeah. Fables 1980. Flash Gordon, Raging Bull, The Shining, Superman 2, and Empire Strikes Back. You wrote Superman, but you mean Superman 2. Superman is 78. Speaking of 78, Reverse Amoeba 78 says Dawn of the Dead, Halloween, Animal House, Superman, and Up in Smoke. Bruh, great list. Travis with 89, Batman, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Ghostbusters 2, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. Yeah. Raiders came out in 1981. That almost made my list. Other movies that almost made my list for best movies of 1981. Where did I write my list? Okay, I wrote Raiders, Stripes, Scanners. Yeah, those are ones I wrote down that didn't make the list, but they were thought about. I would love to see a TV miniseries of Mel Brooks' son's book, World War Z. The movie sucks. I haven't seen the movie or read the book. Twitch says, I would love to... Oh, I already said that. SCG says, oh, damn, I knew you were legit. But now it's official. You kick ass. Apologies for the vulgarities, but it's with merit. Station. Thank you so much. Why? Because we like great movies? You see that New Line Cinema banner pop up, and what do you think of? Scream, says Jeezy Crazy. I think of Blade, but there's a lot of great movies. In fact, somebody posted that up in the PCP Army, and we all had some great answers. TMNT, I said Blade. There's some really good ones to pick. Scream. Freddy. All y'all had great lists. No shit, y'all. Tacky was 75. Oh, a great year. Jaws, Dog Day Afternoon, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Sunshine Boys. I haven't seen Sunshine Boys, but hell yeah on the rest. Y'all, PCP Army's the best, y'all. Y'all the best. Pfft. We love y'all. Now it's time for a station identification. Station. And the hits keep coming. James with 1977, Pumping Iron, Star Wars, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, one of my favorite movies of all time. Saturday Night Fever and Smokey and the Bandit. Weird confession, have never seen Smokey and the Bandit, and I know the PCP crew, excitable we are, going to make me watch it soon. Hell yeah. Man, what a great conversation. I love it. Just pick a year and go with it. I keep telling these fools, I was like, we need to just do a podcast one night. Just pick a year. Let's just talk about the movies of that year. TSG forgot about Mars Attacks. That's a great one. That's a great one. That's a real great one. All right, we're about to get show and tell. For show and tell tonight, we're going to start off with some Blu-rays. Some recent things. I just got this one in today. The Cell. Why? Because we're starting March Madness. March Madness, PCP Movie Night in conjunction with Dylan's Horror Show. That's a Friday show and a Saturday show each week throughout March. First weekend is the Cell and Psycho franchise. Then John Carpenter weekend with In the Mouth of Madness and Prince of Darkness. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre weekend with Part 1 and 2. And then we wrap it up with Event Horizon and Gates of Hell. But we start with The Cell. This upcoming Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. So I got it in today. Fresh off the presses. Speaking of John Carpenter, there you go. Got the Scream Factory edition of The Thing upgrading. Also, Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness. There was a John Carpenter sale plus Amazon. Had a buy two, get one free. So that's what I did there. See what I did? So we're covering both of those movies in a couple weeks. So I get to revisit them. That's nice. I always love AOK's, Acts of Kindness, we call them here. Acts of Caring, if you like to misspell caring. Mike brought this over to me. It's Meteor Man number 4. We covered Meteor Man for PCP Army or PCP Movie Night Friday night. And this is the issue with Night Thrasher. So Mike, Station, appreciate that. I did just buy this Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface NECA action figure. Very excited to open that up eventually. I'll probably save that for Texas Chainsaw Massacre March Madness weekend, right? Let's talk about books, actual books. I got this book, The Last Boy, Mickey Mantle and the End of America's Childhood by Jane Levy. I found this at a thrift store years ago, and to be honest with you, I've never read it. So I figured I'd at least show it off. But I've not read this book yet, but I really want to. So there you go. Got the nice oversized hardcover of The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, California, the renamed first volume. We're going to crack it open tonight. Take a look at it. It's just like the Umbrella Academy hardcover editions or whatever. And now that National Anthem is about to wrap up, I'm sure that they'll do one of this. So it's big. See how big this thing is? This is a normal comic size. You see? They're very big, large, and in charge. But this is a fantastic book. It's got great design work. This is the one that's tied into their last album. This book is so freaking good. National Anthem is good, but I don't think it's as direct or as well thought out as this one. It's got a tone to it, but this one really hits levels that a lot of comics, I think, don't hit. Let me just find the image of Destroya, and we'll move on. Let me just find this image of Destroya. Oh. Yeah. We'll go with this one. Oh, look at that. So fucking good. That's not the image, though. Where's the image? It's going to take me all damn night to find it. This is the most boring part of the stream. What do you mean? Are you telling me? Where the hell's the image? Whatever. It's probably earlier on. It's probably like a vision. Anyway, just wanted to open that up. I got that a while ago. And the last thing for show and tell. I just got this because I was just randomly online. I got an email and I checked it out. But I got this NBA Fanatics exclusive Michael Jordan pop where he's in his warm-up suit. You see that? I just think that's pretty dope. So they suckered me in and I got it. And no, I'm not going to open it, but whatever. So there you go. And that was show and tell, everybody. Station. Now we're going to wrap up with the final 9. So we started with the first 6 movies in my collection. We're going through my Blu-ray collection. Let's continue through. There's Rent, filmed live on Broadway. This is the final performance on Broadway. It's the Blu-ray version of it. I told you I loved Rent. Speaking of musicals, there's one of my favorite musicals, Repo, the Genetic Opera. I love that one. There's my copy of Reservoir Dogs, one of my favorite Tarantino films. This is the 15th anniversary edition. I'm sure they've probably done a few more of those. There's Salem's Lot. This one didn't hold up for me as much as I wanted it to when we revisited it for Horror Fest 2020, but it's still cool to have. There's a bare-bones $5 Walmart pickup of The Sandlot. There's a better version out there that I'll get eventually, but The Sandlot is my favorite sports movie of all time. So there you go. There's my Saw complete movie collection. Have they done more? This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and final chapter. Have they done any more? I know Spiral's coming out, so it may be complete up to date. I don't know, but this was super cheap on Amazon a while ago. Now we're starting into Scream. You know I love Scream. There's number 1. I have all these individually because I bought them all individually. There's part 2. And we'll wrap it up with part 3, which is the movie I typically like to forget that ever happened. But whatever. That's the final 9. We'll pick up the first 6 next week with, obviously, Scream 4. Unless they release Scream 3.5 since then. So there you go. Joe Corallo still in the house says, I've seen Repo with a shadow cast perform in front of a screen years back. Great time. I fucking love Repo the Genetic Opera. I would love to see it done on stage in some form or fashion. I would love that. But the movie, it's so ridiculous. It's so out there. Anthony Stewart Head's performance is amazing. I'm a monster. I'm the villain. What perfection. What precision. Clean incisions. I deliver unscathed organs. I deliver repossessions. I deliver the repo legal assassin. See, we thought we were going to wind up with a Rent sing-along, but we got a Repo the Genetic Opera sing-along. You never know what's going to happen in Rockin Robbie Live, do you? Station. Anyway, we're dipping out. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Upcoming this week, lots of excitement. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. There's a Power Ranger figure right there off camera. I hear rumors of post-credit scenes. I wouldn't hold any truth to any of that. Anyway, thank you guys so much. We're dipping out. Station. Thanks for rocking with us. Y'all have a good one. was going to tell you guys, I do all this like show and tell on this show. And since I started doing all the other shows in Studio B, like the weekly comic book review and the wrap up and all that stuff, all this show and tell stuff from all these random streams, whether Dylan's Horror Show or PCP Movie Night or Rockin Robbie Live, they all just wind up in these piles. And the studio's a fucking mess. Shame on me. I just want to say thanks to everybody and their super chats, their support, and everything for PCP and the channel. Thank you guys so much. Welcome to post credits. We're going to open up this red Dino Thunder action figure. Because I was thinking, I was like, what if I just sold all my Power Ranger stuff? Then I started thinking, what if I just sold everything except for like Power Rangers, horror, a few select items, and my vintage Motus, right? Y'all, it's a tempting paradigm shift to sell all my Power Ranger stuff and get a Firebird. It really, really is. But I don't know how I'd feel about that 10 years from now. But 10 years from now, I'm almost 50. So maybe now's the time to get rid of all my Power Ranger toys. But yet again, I'm going to open this up, devalue it, add it to the pile. Watch this. There you go. So here's the Dino Thunder Red Ranger. What the fuck is wrong with me? I totally should sell all my Power Ranger stuff and get a Firebird. We're going to do a poll in the PCP Army. Soon. All right, Dino Thunder's a dope series. I would like to still get a Zord from Dino Thunder. I really like these Hasbro figures. He's got his spear. He's got some nice effects. We'll worry about that later. We'll work it out, but pretty dope. Pretty dope. Dope design. Cool series. Where's the JDF figure, though, right? Where's the JDF figure? Be sure you guys check out the Swamp Thing book this week from Rom V because it is really freaking good. And I'll give you a special treat. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this. Fuck them, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to show you the first couple pages. Right? They start talking about like the life of larvae and flies and maggots and how they can tell how long a person's been dead because of it. This book's pretty freaking awesome, y'all. So there you go. Another little thing. You should get it. It may be the pick of the week. Like I looked at the list and I don't see what's going to top it except for maybe plot number 8. You know, we'll see. And here's the other thing. I just grabbed this random stack of comics from a random stack over there. I don't know what's in here. Probably things you've seen before. Who knows? I don't know because it's actually turned around like that. So we're going to wrap up by just doing this. What we got? Daredevil Fall from Grace. There you go. It's from Marvel in the 90s. That's the that's the glow in the dark cover. Nice. Scott McDaniel. Yep. This is definitely that stack. I wonder if they're all Daredevil books. Nope. There's an Aquaman. Nice cover there. Oh, Black Panther #1 by Christopher Priest. Love this book. No, that's number 11. My bad. Aliens vs. Predator Fire and Stone #1 because it's the Magnolia cover. Nice. The Witching Hour, Part 2, Wonder Woman 56, foil. It's going to wind up in a mystery box. The Dreaming #1. It's going to wind up in a mystery box. What else we got here? We got Fantastic Four 99. Just in a random stack of comics. There's my Fantastic Four volume, I think 4, #1. This is volume 4 or 5. But it's the one I got signed by Matt Fraction and Mark Bagley. Met them on 2 separate occasions. Oh, there's my Adventures of Superman, number 500, signed by Tom Grummett. Did I not have Carl Kiesel sign this? Oh, because he didn't write it. Well, he was part of it. Why didn't I have him sign this? Anyway, 500. And then, oh, there's my Blade #1 from the Hudson run, or the Guggenheim run. Anyway. Hell yeah. No, Herm, the Fantastic Four 99 is not going in any mystery boxes. Sorry. It's part of the RRPC personal collection. So, anyway, we are dipping out now. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. We really do appreciate it. Station!